Alright, here we go. We're gonna do this.
What?
Alright, hello everyone. Thank you for being here. I have something special for you today that I hope you find both entertaining and informative. Throughout history, tools such as documents, journalism, propaganda, speeches, and digital media have shaped nations and the global stage, demonstrating that language is one of humanity's most influential abilities. My research has led me to reflect on 5 forms of communication through history and examples of notable figures who used them. Documents, journalism, propaganda, speeches, and digital media are the 5 communication tools that I've identified. Documents. The Declaration of Independence changed the course of American history by officially separating the 13 colonies from British rule and set the foundation for a new nation. John Trumbull later painted a depiction of the event shown in Figure 1. It is a document written in 1776, mainly by Thomas Jefferson, with help from key figures like Benjamin Franklin and John Adams. The formal signing took place on August 2nd, 1776 in Philadelphia. It wasn't just a political document, it was an idea turned into words, and then into action after a long debate and growing public unrest.
Yeah.
Under British control, the American colonies faced growing frustration over taxation, limited self-government, and laws imposed by Parliament. Printed media played an important role in influencing colonial opinion. As shown in Figure 2, Paul Revere's engraving of the Boston Massacre portrayed British troops as violent aggressors of the people, helping win the support of the public. The Declaration of Independence also demonstrated how communication could unite people around a common cause. As the United States continued to develop, the growing influence of public journalism would become another powerful force in political thought and reform.
Woohoo!
Journalism. Theodore Roosevelt was the 26th President of the United States. He was born into a privileged family. Bullied early in life, he earned respect by standing up for himself and sticking to his beliefs. He was raised on strong moral principles and took great interest in sanitation standards, human welfare, and labor justice. Figure 3 shows a photo of Roosevelt waving to his audience. He was outspoken, especially about controversial and critical political issues. He gained significant public support for his ideas. Roosevelt understood the power of the press, earning attention from newspapers throughout what is commonly referred to as the Progressive Era, from 1890 to 1910. As illustrated in Figure 4, Roosevelt became closely associated with the rise of muckraking journalism and the broader progressive reform movement. The term muckraker became popular in 1906, when Roosevelt delivered a speech. The men with the muck rakes are often indispensable to the well-being of society, but only if they know when to stop raking the muck. He referred to the practices of investigative journalists who brought the muck of corruption in government, the police, and big business to the surface. While journalism exposed corruption, propaganda during World War II demonstrated how communication could also be weaponized. Propaganda. Propaganda in pre-war Nazi Germany, 1933 to 1939, illustrates how persistent public messaging can drastically influence perception and behavior on a global scale. Just 2 years into his rule, Adolf Hitler consolidated control over the German military and state institutions. As shown in Figure 5, he is photographed inspecting a German regiment at a Nazi Party rally in Nuremberg, approximately 3 years before the outbreak of World War II in 1939. The Nazi Party employed radical language and state-controlled media to secure public support, establishing the core principles of its ideology, and mobilized mass action, resulting in genocide, destruction, and political and social suffering for the Jewish people, Germany, and much of the world. Symbols such as the swastika, the Iron Cross, and the SS bolts, and coordinated paramilitary displays helped solidify a unified image, reinforcing ideological conformity and creating an identity for the movement. The propaganda also targeted the nation's youth through children's reading and visual materials such as the Poisonous Mushroom, an anti-Semitic children's book, and brown shirt paper dolls, as shown here in Figure 7. The strategy ensured children's loyalty to the regime and participation in its organizations. By the start of World War II in 1939, Nazi ideology permeated most of German society, including its youngest generations. Hitler also used public speeches to manipulate and oppress this new society. Speaking of speeches, Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the most influential speakers in American history. During the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s, he delivered speeches that challenged racial segregation and demanded equal rights for African Americans, as shown here in Figure 8. King was heavily influenced by principles of nonviolence and believed that peaceful protests could bring about meaningful legal and social reform. King's I Have a Dream speech, delivered during the 1963 March on Washington, demonstrated the power of public rhetoric to inspire change. He criticized the lack of racial equity in the United States, emphasizing a vision of racial equality, justice, and peace for the nation, as shown here in Figure 9. The speech reached millions through television and radio broadcasts, showing how modern technology helped to expand the reach and impact of politics on a national scale. These technologies only continue to evolve with time. And speaking of digital media, digital and social media have dramatically increased the spread of ideas in the modern era, as seen in Figure 10. Information that once took days, weeks, or months to spread now reaches millions of people within seconds through modern devices. This capability has increased exposure to global events, especially in nations where communication tools have been unavailable, censored, or restricted in the past. However, constant connectivity has created serious concerns regarding mental health, privacy, and misinformation. Digital addiction is a real issue, as represented by the artwork in Figure 11. The realities we now faced will go with the realities we are now faced with go even further. With the rapid advancement of artificial intelligence, messages can be generated, voices can be imitated, and information can be produced at a scale and pace that we have never seen before. Who controls what we see, what we believe, and what we share? These questions have affected public perception, and demands for policy and regulation are rising. Some people fear modern connectivity. Figure 12 shows an artwork that criticizes digital surveillance, suggesting we are always being watched even when the machines are powered off. The greatest challenge of fully integrating advanced communications in our lives is no longer global access, but whether or not we can be trusted with it. Entire civilizations have been built, sustained, and destroyed with these tools. They affect how information is interpreted, how beliefs are formed, and how society influences how people understand the world around them. Today's communications tools are extremely powerful and readily available. The responsibility to use them wisely belongs to each and all of us. Own your voice. How you choose to use it matters and can lead to dramatic global changes that we all have to live with. Thank you.